Donald here with Floating Feathers Kayak Fly Fishing School and Crescent Kayaks. And today I'm going to stand here with the Crescent CK1 Venture. And I'm going to do a kind of a walkthrough on this. I know there's a few other walkthrough videos, but I'm going to look at it from a fly fishing standpoint, a little more specific. So the CK1 Venture is Crescent Kayak's latest kayak out on the market. Stats on this is at 11-foot length, and I just measured this with a tape measure, and it is exactly 11 feet. It's not 11 foot 1, it's not 10 foot 8, it is exactly 11 feet long. It is 34 inches wide for its widest point, which is just on the outside of the gunnels here, so 34 inches wide. It weighs 60 pounds, and it has a capacity of 400 pounds. And all that kind of put together means it's a high weight capacity throw and go, and combined with that signature paddle performance that Crescent provides with their kayaks. It's got a full length keel, so I'm just going to kind of flip this over just a little bit, and you can kind of see that full length keel that runs all the way down the length of the boat here. It's got a very aggressive rocker, so you can kind of see that banana shape, and that those two things. The keel is going to allow you really great tracking. And what I mean by that is it's going to stay true. So if you want to go straight, it's going to stay straight for you. That really nice banana rocker boat or rocker shape is going to allow maneuverability. So it's going to allow you to turn a lot easier without having to fight a lot of the boat. It's got enhanced secondary stability on this watercraft, and what that means is that you have a little bit of play for that primary stability. And that's going to allow you to edge a little bit when you're going through current or waves or anything like that when you're in open water like the ocean or Great Lakes, moving waters like faster streams, rivers, things like that, anything with current. You're going to be able to kind of lean into that turn a little bit and really get this boat on its edge, as they call it. But it also gives you a nice peace of mind when you're standing up to give you a lot of that stability. Without feeling tippy, if you will, for that lack of term. So the bow, we're going to start up here at the bow. The bow's got that signature handle, just like most of the other Crescent models. This model actually has something a little bit different on the front. Rather than a dry hatch or an in-hull storage, this is kind of similar to what the Crew has, their other model, the 13-foot model, where it has kind of a front tank well system. And it's got a pretty good sized tank well system. Now these pads are an additional thing. These are what I added to it, and they are available on the Crescent website. And I'll talk about those in a little bit. But right now it's a kind of like a front tank well system. It's got a nice little storage area up here. But this pouch, as you can see, is removable fairly easy because I just kind of took it off its little latches right there. But it's got a paddle park in there on the front aspect of it. So I can slip a paddle right in there. And it holds the paddle really nice and easy. It's a nice little slip. It slips right in. There's not really much effort from inside the boat. It just kind of slides in. And we'll get back to the other part of that in just a moment. The other thing about this nice little pouch, this cover up here, is that it expands because it's got these bungees in it. So if you stuff a lot of stuff like a sleeping bag or a bunch of materials or whatever you're taking with you on your river trip or camping or whatever, this can actually grow with you, so it expands really, really nice. It has one of the awesome features. This is a water-resistant pouch. Now, it's not waterproof, it's water-resistant, but as you can see, it's a nice little storage pouch, and it goes almost all the way across. I think it's got about a half an inch on each side for the seam, but it's a pretty big area to store some stuff, and a water-resistant zipper. So adds just a nice little storage area to put the keys or your camera or something like that up there. It's going to want you want to stay dry. Really nice little feature on that. We're going to come back to right here. As you see, the transom, if you will, or the cross member, however you want to say this, between that separates the deck and the front tank well area is open right here. And what that means is that if you have really long objects that you want to take long, it allows you to take some nice objects and nice materials with you. It's got two built-in rod rests up here. So I'm going to grab a rod real quick. I'm just going to grab a short one to show you how those rod rests work. And if you notice, those rod rests are a little more curved, so it allows that rod to sit right in a really, really nice and easy. There's not a 90-degree bend in there, so This is a nice little rod rest on either side, and we'll get back to that in just a few moments. Coming back just a little bit, I'm going to rotate this boat, if you will. Just give me a minute here. Kind of get this on its. That might be a little bit better to see. So it's got footrest, the adjustable footrest that all the Crescent kayaks have. It's got really long range adjustability. It's got yak attack tracks up here for all your gear track accessories, rod holders, paddle holders, things like that. These pouches, along with these pads, and the front pads and the rear deck pads, are all accessories. I went ahead and added these, but what these do is give you just a little bit of storage. They're really easy to mount. I actually have a video on how to mount these pouches or stash pockets and how to install these pads. So look for those videos on my channel as well. These pouches are not watertight or water resistant, but they're just a nice little place to store things. For fly fishing, I like to put leaders and tippets and things like that in here. And even if I have like a small little fly box, I'll put the fly box in there just because it keeps it off the deck, and I don't have to worry about losing it. Coming back just a little bit more, we have a drink holder on each side, and it's a rather large cup holder, drink holder with the drain. So as water comes over the sides, or as your glass or cup or whatever sweats, it can drain right down in the drain hole. It's a really large, deep hole. It works great for those big water bottles that you might have. Next thing we see is our side molded handles. Another signature Crescent. Here is a paddle park on this side, and there is one on the other side. So as I use the front paddle park, this keeps that paddle in place, very nice and easy, keeps it out of the way and off to the side. So that gives me free hands for fishing. It keeps it off to the side as much as it can, and I don't have to worry about the paddle falling off or anything like that. Now, if you don't want to use a front paddle park, that's fine. You can just slip this off to the side, and this paddle park works just the same. I just happen to like that front paddle park, so that way your paddle isn't banging up against the side of the kayak and scaring off some fish. So that's two options, and there is a paddle park on either side. So whether you are right-handed or left-handed, that paddle park works the same on either side. So take that back off there for just a moment so we can see the rest of this boat. Get back to the kayak here just a moment. Got the signature Crescent seat. It's got pad eyes down here on either side. If you can see these pad eyes here and here, and that is for the install of the seat riser that Crescent offers. And it's a seat riser that works in the LT, the light tackle, and the CK1 Venture. Those little bungee there, those eyelets are to tie on the bungees to hold in your seat riser. So you can get a little elevation about 5 inches out of the deck of this kayak. Make it a little easy on your hips and knees, legs, things like that, and your back. So the signature seat, you're going to see a stash pocket here. Or stash tray rather, and it's a pretty deep tray. If you want to put something like your lures, if you're a conventional fisherman, you put your lures down here, put your sunglasses. It's a pretty deep tray. It's probably 3 inches deep, so you can put some nice items in there, and it allows the water to drain off, and you're not just going to lose something rather than putting it on the side of the kayak. I like to put my pliers there because they're easy to reach from that area, and I don't have to worry about accidentally knocking them off the kayak when I go take a fish hook out or something, or a fly out of the fish or something like that. Right behind the seat, I'm going to try to get this stuff out of the way. Right behind the seat and right at the end of that stash tray, we have another drink holder here. And it's designed for a lot of different things. It can be a big, one of them big Nageline or something. I can't remember how to say that. Big water bottles that would go there. What else it works for is if you're a traditional fisherman or conventional fisherman, your soft plastic baits, the big bags and things will go down in there really nice, and it just kind of holds it from flopping all around and sliding around your kayak. I like to put my reel from my fly rod in there, just like that. And it just kind of holds it nice and easy, right? It's not designed to hold it from falling out. It just kind of holds it to the side of the kayak. And then what I like to do is use this paddle park, and it holds my rod. So as I'm paddling along, I don't have to worry about my fly rod, which can get rather expensive, falling out of the kayak or being up in my way of my feet or anything like that. It's just a really nice way of holding that. And it'll hold up to about an 8 weight. I haven't tried a 10 weight in it yet, but I know it will hold an 8 weight. So we're going to slide back just a little bit more. Right behind the seat, we have a mighty mount on each side, and they're as far in to the inside of this tank well as you can get. So if you want to add a second mighty mount here, that's a great area to do that. It's a pretty sturdy, solid part of the kayak here. That's great for rod holders, your flags, 50 flags, things like that. It's a really nice place to put one of those. If you're a trolling fisherman, if you're a conventional fisherman, you want to troll, your rod holders back here will work really well for that trolling aspect. Now, if you come back to the very back, all the way back in here, it's a really large tank well for an 11-foot kayak. It's a really square area almost. It's got a little bit of an angle here, but what this allows is a really great storage area for a cooler, a nice big square area. So if you're using a Yak Attack black box or something similar, a storage crate, it works really well. It'll fit just about any crate on the market back here. It'll fit a really nice, good sized cooler. The other something about the tank well here is that you'll notice on these kayaks from Crescent Kayaks, their drain channel, if you will, is in the very center of the kayak, and the deck kind of tilted in towards that. If you look on out here, you're looking at about probably 6 inches deep or 5 inches deep, but in the middle, it's probably about 7.5 to 8 inches deep. And what that means is that the kayak kind of sits like this on the deck. And that drain channel being down the middle allows all that water that comes over the sides to go all the way to the middle of the kayak and down the drain holes. Another great aspect about that is that as you put your black pack here or your cooler or your seat or whatever, it's going to keep everything out of that water channel. So the water's draining towards the middle, but you don't have to worry about trying to extend the height of your black pack or your crate to keep it out of the water or keep water out of your crate. The height from the outside of this mounting area to the inside, that water will always drain right down the middle, and you won't get your black pack or your crate full of water, and it just keeps everything nice and dry. So that's a really great feature about these Crescent Kayak tank wells, excuse me, and drainage system. Coming a little farther to the back, you have the two molded in handles that are pretty much signature on all of the Crescent Kayaks. You've got the rear transom mount, so if you did want to mount a trolling motor or anything like that, you can mount it really easy right here. This is a completely sealed hull, which means there is no internal access. And if you were paying attention to the video, you probably noticed that I didn't show you anywhere to get into the kayak because there is no way to get into this kayak. Now, you can mount something if you need to or you want to somewhere. But a sealed hull is going to be great for your oceans, for your moving waters, for your currents, anything like that. So you don't have to worry about stuff inside that kayak getting wet. I do have this drain plug removed because a sealed hull is going to get hot, and it's going to expand with elevation as well as temperature change. So when you're transporting these, and this is what I like to do. Unless I am paddling this boat, this drain plug is loose. Once I get it onto the water and I begin to paddle, or right before I paddle, I will just tighten this drain plug. Okay. Until then, it stays loose. I don't have to worry about this expanding, causing these molded in pop outs to actually pop out, because this entire kayak will get really hot on the inside, or the air pressure will change from elevation changes, especially extreme elevation changes, and cause those pop outs that are built in there to release pressure to pop out. You can get it back in, but it's kind of a pain in the butt. So it's just easier to take this out. And just leave it out. It won't come out. You can put a piece of red tape there, a flag, something like that, just to remind you to put it back in. The other great thing about it is because of the location of this drain plug is up higher and it's much higher than the water line. Even if you forget to put this back in, you're not going to get that much water in there for most occasions. We've had people, I've seen people on Facebook take these things down class 1 and class 2 rapids and barely have any water in there whatsoever, if any at all, from that drain plug being loose. So it's not detrimental, but it is detrimental if you do not loosen it when you're storing it. So just as a rule of thumb, if you're not paddling it, loosen the drain plug. So that is kind of the overall, well, all right, the overall walkthrough of the CK1 Venture from Crescent Kayaks. I love this boat. It paddles very, very, very well. I've taken on lakes. I've taken on the rivers. I am about to go take this in the Gulf of Mexico. By the time this video is released, I will probably have this in the Gulf of Mexico. But from paddling it in the other waters, this is a really, really great kayak for moving waters, for splashing waters, for waves, for current, things like that. It's wider. It's just as wide as the light tackle. It's shorter than the light tackle. It has almost the same maneuverability of the ultralight, which is Crescent Kayak's 10-foot kayak. It has this stability of the longer light tackle. So it's a really, really great blend of the ultralight and the light tackle, and it just kind of, like if they had a child, this would be it. It's a really, really nice blend of everything. And they added a few things like these paddle parks here and these drink holders that just really make it a nice bonus features, if you will. Enhances the featureability, but not the functions, right? The function of this boat is to move and paddle, is to function well as paddle performance. It is a very, very well paddling boat, and of all the kayaks that I've paddled of Crescent Kayaks, this by far is my favorite. I really like all their kayaks. They all paddle very well, but this one is just, for me personally, it's a very, very equal blend of stability, paddle performance, and just awesomeness. I mean, it's a great color. It comes in 4 colors. This is the dark green. They have a nor'easter, which is kind of a bluish color. It's kind of a, it's not really pastel. It's kind of a storm-colored blue. It's actually a pretty blue color. They have a sea foam because it's a really high-demand color from Crescent Kayaks. And this is the only kayak right now that you can get from Crescent Kayaks that actually has a blended pattern, and it's camo. So for you guys that are duck hunters, or you guys that want to blend into the environment a little bit better, that camo is going to work really, really well for you. And that is kind of it. Now, remember, the deck pad kits do not come with it, nor do these stash pockets. Those are separate items that you have to order from the accessories on the Crescent Kayaks website. For install, I have done videos on the stash pockets and on the deck pads. So look for those. If you have any questions down here on the CK1 Venture, please post them. If I wasn't able to talk about something, please let me know. And I will see if I can just kind of look everything over and make sure I got everything. I believe so. So remember, this is the CK1 Venture, 11 foot long, 34 inches wide. Weighs 60 pounds, has a capacity of 400. I know that's what they say. I think it could probably hold more, but I'm not going to tell you to put any more in it. That's just a feeling I have. I really feel it could probably hold more than 400 pounds. But they say 400 pounds, and by far, for an 11-foot kayak, that is at a lot of weight capacity to boat weight ratio. So a 60-pound, 11-foot kayak that can hold 400 pounds is just, that's not something you come across every day in the kayak world. So I think that got everything. I got the paddle parks. I think that got my mental checklist down. I think that's it. So if you have any questions, please let me know below. I will get to them just as soon as I can. I will post all the stats and stuff below as well, so you can see those a little bit easier. And again, Donald here with Floating Feathers Kayak Fly Fishing School and Crescent Kayaks. Thank you all for watching.